And you always knew the bad news was coming with Todd, because he'd go, here's the thing. And he said, we're going to lose the orchestra in Dresden, and we have to do all of the conducting first. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society. And I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is a very useful.
When Blake, Lively, and Ryan Reynolds' alleged pattern of bullying their Hollywood colleagues didn't begin with Justin Baldoni, and it may not end there either. Now, Cate Blanchett has finally broken her silence in a scorching new interview that's turning heads everywhere. When a respected, private, and dignified icon like Cate speaks up about Blake and Ryan, you know this is serious. Allegedly, Blake didn't just try to hijack Cate's legacy, she outright took it, and when confronted, brushed it off completely. But Cate didn't create a public scene or lash out. Instead, she responded calmly and strategically in a way that's now being called poetic justice. Many believe Cate may finally be the one to hold Blake and Ryan accountable and shine a spotlight on their long-running behavior.
It's sometimes good to be really simple. I mean, Matisse says this fantastic thing. It's just, don't try and be original. Just be simple.
Anyone who knows Cate Blanchett knows that she and Chanel were a perfect match like peanut butter and jelly. For over a decade, Cate was the face of Chanel, and the partnership only grew stronger with time. She wasn't just a Hollywood actress, she embodied elegance, legacy, and timeless sophistication. Everything Chanel stood for. Cate regularly attended Chanel's private fittings and couture shows. In 2021, she signed a multi-season contract to headline Chanel's Women in Cinema campaign. As part of the initiative, Chanel commissioned a legacy short film written by Cate's husband, Andrew Upton. The film was a minimalist black and white piece featuring two women, no dialogue, just storytelling through expression and movement. Contracts were signed, the film was approved, and everything was ready. But when the big day arrived and the spotlight was meant for Cate, Blake Lively appeared. This wasn't a mix-up, it was a stunning replacement that left everyone wondering what really happened behind the scenes.
Blake Lively is out and about in the UK promoting her One Simple Favor, right? Is that the name? Yep, she's out. She's wearing this Chanel head-to-toe V. Here's the look in the runway.
Fans were completely confused. Why was Blake there? What happened to Cate? Was the deal canceled? In reality, there was no fallout between Cate and Chanel. No drama, no disagreement. Many believe Blake's sudden rise as the new face was the result of calculated sabotage. Reportedly, someone from Chanel contacted Cate's team saying the campaign's direction had shifted, industry speak, for you're out. Cate was blindsided since there had been no conflict or warning signs. Things clicked when Blake was unveiled as a new face. What made it worse was that Chanel didn't even scrap the original concept designed around Cate. They kept the structure, added sparkles, slapped on feel-good quotes, a bold red lipstick, and called it a day.
No, they're so look at these. They match my outfit. Look at those nails. Wow. Aren't they incredible? Those are amazing. I had time for that. I literally did it while it worked. It was a little chaotic. It was worth it.
Her backstage crews were stunned when news broke that Cate had been replaced. A stylist allegedly leaked text messages revealing that Blake was never part of the original plan. Her team had pitched Chanel a lucrative cross-platform deal that was hard to refuse. Still, pushing Cate out so abruptly was a bold move, maybe too bold, and this was just the beginning. After securing the campaign, Blake and her team allegedly launched a strategy to portray Cate as outdated, while positioning Blake as the fresh new face meant to save Chanel from fading relevance. In March 2023, Chanel hosted a private dinner in Paris, a high-profile event attended by legacy actresses, directors, creatives, and brand partners. Cate had RSVP'd months earlier, and Andrew Upton's short film was scheduled to premiere that night. Then, just 2 weeks before the event, Chanel announced Blake Lively would be honored as the new face of the campaign. Cate's short film was quietly scrapped and replaced with Blake's theme cross-platform storytelling across beauty, film, and wellness. Surprisingly, Cate didn't cancel. She attended with her head held high. Everything seemed fine until Blake changed the tone of the night. According to insiders, Blake was seated at another table with a senior Chanel creative when she said, "I just feel like I could bring something fresh to it." That script was beautiful, but kind of outdated, right? The creative laughed and replied, "You mean Andrew's script? I didn't even realize he wrote it until later." But legacy doesn't really sell to Gen Z, unfortunately. Cate was sitting just a few feet away and heard the entire exchange. She didn't confront him, but insiders say her expression changed, and she looked quietly heartbroken for the rest of the evening. Then came another twist. In April 2023, Blake's Chanel x Netflix crossover campaign launched, but a major PR oversight exposed everything. Chanel's team forgot to cancel a feature article that had been approved during Cate's era. A British fashion magazine published it on April 16, referencing Andrew Upton's short film and Cate's creative involvement multiple times. The article stayed live for only 3 hours before being pulled, but screenshots spread online. Social media exploded, accusing Blake of stealing work and erasing contributions. The backlash was swift and brutal. Cate never addressed the drama publicly. Weeks later, she quietly accepted a humanitarian award in Berlin. An attendee recorded part of her speech. The clip was later taken down, but one line echoed across the internet. There's a difference between honoring a story and owning it like it was always yours. One builds legacy, the other builds ego. Fans immediately took it as a veiled but unmistakable dig at Blake.
About much. And the more I do, in a way, I think the less I know. And I've had a very eclectic and strange career that has taken me many places. But perhaps if there's any connective tissue in my career, it's the desire to know. It's the quest to unlock what it means to be human, that strange nub of fearful, joyful uncertainty that it is to be a human being. To live a creative life, it's fueled with uncertainty and doubt. It's the DNA of how you begin any project. You have to humble yourself and say, I don't know, and I'm here to find out.
In June 2023, Cate and her husband Andrew quietly premiered a 2-person play at the Sydney Theatre Company. Andrew wrote it, Cate directed it. This wasn't a flashy comeback after the Chanel fallout, no major PR, no red carpet, just an intimate event for theater lovers and film enthusiasts. Interestingly, the play's original title was reportedly Lines That Weren't Meant to Be Read, but it was later changed to The Credit or something similar. Many believe this was a subtle jab at Blake Lively, who allegedly took credit for Cate's work and sidelined her professionally, intentionally or not. The title felt like a quiet but pointed message, and Cate didn't need a media circus to deliver it.
Heard.
Well, I always approach every role as a woman because I am. I don't really think about that. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society at the moment. I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is a very useless emotion. I don't know what you do with that. But shame and regret and the lessons one can learn from that are, I think, are very...
Cate handled the Blake Chanel situation with a level of grace most actresses don't have or can't afford. It was shocking that Blake allegedly tried to bully and silence Cate in such a public and petty way. But what many didn't realize was that Cate wasn't the first or the only person Blake treated this way. Blake allegedly has a long-standing pattern of bullying co-stars and crew, especially when she feels her spotlight is threatened. When someone else starts getting attention, she reportedly undermines them, sometimes naughtily, sometimes not. A common tactic, making inappropriate or off-putting jokes that make others uncomfortable, then labeling them too uptight or mean if they don't laugh. A resurfaced interview clip perfectly highlights this behavior. Blake made a cringe-worthy joke about Leighton Meester being born in prison and compared other co-stars to monkeys in a cage. Fans were stunned, not just by the jokes, but by the visibly uncomfortable body language of her co-stars.
Article recently saying that Leighton and I were frenemies, and it's
frenemies. Is that the new term? Frenemies?
Yeah, we're friends, but we're also enemies. And it's really strange because they always want to pit women against each other. You don't hear about like Penn and Chase hating each other and being jealous and competitive.
2 seconds later.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. Good moment by me.
Remember Savannah.
It was another promise was no pet monkey. Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Your wardrobe? That is important. Very good.
It's very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and slip them.
The joke was terrible, borderline cruel, and it was obvious the co-stars weren't amused. Still, it was brushed off as Blake being Blake, but behind the scenes it wasn't so easy to ignore. Allegedly, Blake picked on Leighton Meester throughout years of filming Gossip Girl. In 2017, executive producer Joshua Safran spilled a little tea, downplaying the tension as a clash of personalities, but fans weren't convinced when the clip resurfaced. Then came Armie Hammer's revelation. In an interview with Andy Cohen, he didn't hold back. Blake was a full-blown diva on set. Everything had to go her way, and the smallest inconvenience caused meltdowns. Armie was polite, but what he didn't say spoke volumes. He admitted Blake's behavior was a major reason he left the show. The experience genuinely shook him and fans noticed.
It starts with us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Justin said he doesn't know if he'd be game to direct the next one, but perhaps Blake would. Is that something that you would entertain?
Oh, absolutely. I think that whoever decides to take charge of the next one would do it justice. But, it's a lot of people to get the same schedules together again, so we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. She's so capable of that. She is a powerhouse. She could do.
And don't even get started on the behind-the-scenes rumors. Word is, when Blake doesn't like an actor, she makes an effort to ensure everyone else on set has issues with them too. Ever wondered why Penn Badley had such a rough start on Gossip Girl? Allegedly, Blake told directors and cast members from day one that Penn was difficult and unapproachable. The result? Weeks of tension until people actually got to know him and realized he was nothing like the version Blake painted. So when Justin Baldoni came forward claiming Blake tried to push him out of the director's chair, people were shocked but not surprised. Reports say she didn't just want the spotlight, she allegedly rewrote scenes without permission, and when she was refused, she threatened to unleash the dragons, her best friend Taylor Swift and husband Ryan Reynolds. It didn't stop there. Allegedly, Blake went behind Justin's back and personally lobbied Colleen Hoover to direct the next installment before lawsuits were even filed. Justin's contract gives him exclusive rights to direct and produce every part, with one key clause. If he's involved in a morally compromising scandal, he permanently loses those rights. Blake was already working on pulling Colleen to her side major red flags. When you connect the dots, it looks shady. Meanwhile, Cate Blanchett didn't back down. She stood firm and refused to be sidelined by industry politics. But what do you think? Should Cate have handled it differently? And is this really the beginning of the end for Blake's career? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned for the next jaw-dropping update.